If you knew what your true yes was and what your true no was in all areas of your life, would you be able to choose faster and easier? What futures would those choices create? Everyone is capable of connecting to their bodies in a way to have more exuberant and joyful living now and in the future. Now, here is your host of Choosing a Different Future with Siris.
Hello. I'm Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo. I'm Choosing a Different Future with Siris. Hi, everyone. Today's episode is how to use sexual healing for clarity. For clarity. We need it. I know I do. And so in case you're new to our show, the show is all about getting ideas, talking about different resources and possibilities where you can choose a different future beyond what's been projected and expected of you. So you can look at how you're communicating, your self-care routines, and your awareness of your body to partner with your body in order to create a phenomenal life. And I am coming from this from my experiences as a life coach, working with families and children, doing speech and language therapy, learning and behavioral therapies, and academic remediation, feeding therapy. But then I also have this other thing that connects with it so beautifully, that with therapeutic energy work. And with that, I've come across and been able to play around with this beautiful body process called the living and dying body process that awakens our unique gifts and capacities with living, letting us know how we can uniquely create lives that have joyful living, have exuberant living, and also include a way for us to be clear on how to use our energies with elegance so that it's the least amount of effort with the greatest result. And I really love inviting people to play around with these different energies and with these different tools. And we have a couple of events I want to make sure you know about. We have 2 awakening classes coming up. The awakening class is where people learn how to give and receive the living and dying body process I just mentioned. And it's Saturday, June 24th. It's a 1-day class. The theme of that one is opening the doors for the future. And we have November 4th. That's also a Saturday. And it's coming home to you. That's the theme of that one. Both of them are available in person in the Charlotte area of North Carolina, or you can come and join anywhere that you are in the world. Just make sure you're connecting, given the time differences, live streaming wherever you are, at home, if you want to do it from your office, whatever is going to work for you. And so if you have information on that, if you would like information on that, you can go to empoweringlightlanguage.com/living and dying. We have our expansive energies group. Happy June, everyone. Happy Pride Month. And our theme for the expansive energies group this month is beginnings and finding yourself in transitions. So we're going to be talking about all different types of transitions and all different types of beginnings in this group, where it's all about self-care and empowerment. And the information about the expansive energies group is at empoweringlightlanguage.com/expansive energies. And it's a really, really lovely group where we meet twice a month over Zoom to do these group therapeutic energy work sessions. We have monthly complimentary calls for families called our Being a Different Possibility for Families. And we just had our May call on May 22nd on thriving with your family. And the June topic is having your fantastical voice with family. Very much excited about that. We've done a couple of podcast episodes on having our fantastical voice. And so this will be great to tailor it specifically to everything related to families. Very much looking forward to that. Again, that is June 26th. And you can find information on that on all of our social media platforms. There's a Facebook event page, and there's also information on our website. I'm looking at my notes here. So, yes. Okay, so let's go into it today. Today's topic is how to use sexual healing for clarity. So, are you a sexual healer? What would it look like for you to use sexual healing to your advantage even more if you do recognize that you are a sexual healer? And people can use their innate gifts with bodies, with energy, and healing to add energy, joy, clarity, and abilities to their repertoire. Yes, and abilities. So, what would you like to add to your life? Keep that in mind as we talk about things today. People come to me all the time looking for a way to clear away confusion, remove doubt, reduce distraction. I work with a lot of my X-Men kiddos, the ADD, ADHD, OCD can be very distracting. And as I ask them some questions and provide some examples and connect them with some resources, they get clear on what's possible for them. And some people require a little bit more of a personalized approach. That's totally fine, right? Some of us all benefit from that. I know I have, where they need to have conversations on a regular basis to undo and unravel some of their limiting beliefs, stop their patterns of self-imposed adversity, or have an accountability partner such as myself that they can lean on as they explore all of the energies available to them to create a different possibility. And it may seem odd. I definitely got a couple of, what now? But I told people about this upcoming topic, but awakening sexual energies within your body and using your sexual energies and your sexual healing capacities in a conscious way, and that's very important, in a conscious way can provide a level of clarity, space, and confidence that few other things can provide. And so what's great is that it doesn't require anyone else. You don't have to actually do anything with anyone else to be able to use your sexual healing capacities, this gift that is within us, within our bodies, within us as beautiful infinite beings, to your advantage to have more clarity. Now, full transparency, it's been a crazy time for me the last couple of months. Some of you have been aware of that, and I've mentioned it in passing a couple times in past episodes. Right now in particular, I want to acknowledge it because part of what's going on today is this is a pre-recorded episode. So if you're trying to connect with us through the live chat, that's why you're not being able to, but you'll be able to connect with us in the next episode in the live chat that will be live. And part of what's going on that I really wanted to talk about using sexual healing for clarity is there's been a lot of confusion in my world, and I've been using this over and over and over again to be clear on what can I do right now, what's uniquely available to me, who should I talk to, where should I go, is this right for me, is this not right for me? And so this is very much relevant in my world right now. And I get that it's not just me. It's a lot of people that are having a lot of things that they're juggling, confusion, doubt, where they're insecure about something, or they felt like they were pretty confident and then something kind of brings up an insecurity and they're like, wait, where is this coming from? So all of this and more can be addressed and dissipate out of our bodies using our sexual healing capacities. Now, for some of you, you might have checked these out already, but I want to give you a little heads up and for you to bookmark some episodes so that you can have some episodes that complement this one really beautifully. This is actually a bit of a continuation, branching off of two other episodes that we've done on our podcast. One was from December of 2022, where we talked about creating a greater enthusiasm for living with your inner child. So search for that, bookmark it, add it to your queue, listen to that one. And then the other one was on March 31st of 2023, earlier this year, and it was how to use sexual healing to create a great life. We talked about sexual healing initially in that one more explicitly. I'm going to talk about it a little bit here today, and then we're going to take off, and we're going to really talk about how we can use it for clarity, yay, as I totally sing that off pitch. I'm sorry to my people that are really big about pitch and tone. Forgive me. So what is sexual healing? Well, it's a lot of things. One of the things that we talked about in our March episode around how to use sexual healing to create a great life is someone who's a sexual healer is willing to access the orgasmic energy within them, the orgasmic energy within their environment, all these energies, because the earth energy is very intense. Hello, earth. Just even saying that right now, I'm like, room. Earth's like, you rang, madam. And I'm like, hello, yes, let's play. And then someone who receives from and with bodies, including their own body. So if you're not including your own body, but you know that you're really aware of other people's bodies, you're actually cutting off your sexual healing possibilities. Okay. Now, how do you know if you're cutting things off? Well, if even the very idea of it, me just talking about it right now, you start contracting, you start clenching, you start tensing your body, you're probably cutting it off in some way. You're not willing to go there yet. It's very uncomfortable for you. And it's okay if it is. With practice, with you being aware, oh, wow, that brought up some stuff in my world. That awareness then can lead for you to start taking a different path and taking a different action than you have in the past. Because now it's something that's become conscious versus something that you've blocked away and it's become unconscious. Okay. Someone who's a sexual healer can use this ability to create their lives, to create their businesses, to create their relationships. And it's a way for them to use it for them instead of against them to have exuberant living. So it actually creates more space and is a way for you to have more ease when things are difficult. And that's definitely what I've been needing to do a lot of in the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months, but definitely the last couple of weeks. So just a couple of examples, just for my own self personally. And then I'm going to also talk about how I've been able to use this with other people. So part of why I'm pre-recording this episode is in the last week and a half, a bunch of things have happened. I found out that my boyfriend, Justin, some of you know Justin, his great-grandmother passed away. And we weren't really surprised. She'd been declining for a while. It just, the timing of it was, when is it ever convenient, really? It's never convenient. And so it was surprising, and we had to move very, very quickly, both ourselves, but also move out of our 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house that we've been renting. Instead of having a couple weeks to move, to pack and move, we started packing on a Wednesday with the help of my mom. And she came Wednesday and Thursday to help us pack. You've met her on our show. She's been part of the Limitless Azúcar episodes. Thank you, Ma, wherever you are. And so she helped us pack Wednesday and Thursday. And then we had a moving truck come Saturday. And we moved out 90% of our stuff in that day, basically. So in a course of what's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, in 4 days, we had to do all of that. But at the same time, we're looking at details for the funeral, right? We're looking at, okay, we have to buy flights to fly out of town for the funeral. Where are we going to stay? Okay, we still don't know where we're going to live next because we've been searching. It's not like we waited last minute. I don't wait last minute for really anything. We've been searching for months for our next home. And with each place, I would ask my body if it was a yes or if it was a no to live there. What would it create if we moved in there? What would it create if we didn't? And I would look at which was the biggest, that spaciousness, that exuberant living, the yum. And there wasn't a yum, with the exception of 2. And then they would be snatched up before we could apply to rent there, or even before we could even tour the places, because I would ask that even with the pictures of the places when we were looking at them online. And so it really brings up a lot for someone who had a lot of tumultuous childhood where I was moving around a lot. Having where I live be not just a stable place, but a place that's a haven that brings a sense of peace and calm was really, really important to me. And so I use what we're going to be talking about today to be clear on if I was going to move into these homes or not, if I was going to put an application or not, and what would create the most for me, for Justin, for our relationship, and for anyone else that was involved. And this is really, really key because a lot of people hesitate to use this type of strategies and tools to awaken our sexual energies because we feel like it's going to be like a violation against somebody else's wishes. Like this idea of consent with it comes up into play. We don't want to maybe offend or something because it might be a sense of arousal in our world. We associate sexual energies only with intimacy, with having sex with someone, and with arousal. And we're like, well, that's maybe not appropriate to have that feeling, those sensations when you're thinking of business or when you're thinking of home buying. And yet it's actually going to be really, really helpful to you if you're willing to do that. And you can actually activate and awaken these sexual energies without having arousal in the same way that you would when you're about to be intimate with somebody. So let's look at that. Let's look at some of our assumptions around this and consider that while we're on this next break. Okay, so we're going to take our first break of the show, consider some of our assumptions, and we're going to come back and talk about them and what we can do beyond those assumptions. You're listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will continue to discuss how to use sexual healing for clarity. We'll be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And today our show topic is how to use sexual healing for clarity. Okay. Our show is brought to you by Activated Liquid Collagen from LifeVantage. Liquid collagen is a different, better collagen supplement. Get real results that you can see and feel. Check out the Activated Liquid Collagen and LifeVantage's other natural plant-based products to address anti-aging, gut health, energy, and more by going to www.sirisrivas.lifevantage.com. The link is in our episode page. Also, our episode is brought to you by The Elements of Living, the ingredients for creating empowered, authentic, and joyful living with your body. By familiarizing yourself with the Elements of Living, or EOLs, you can identify where you already have the ingredients to create a phenomenal life that's worth living to you. Awaken the slumbering elements essential for you to thrive, and stop anywhere that you are being misled by irrelevant and erroneous information. For our listeners, you can receive the introductory quick book on the Elements of Living for free, waiving the current cost of the book by emailing us at empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com with the subject line Elements. For more information on the elements of living, visit www.empoweringlightlanguage.com/elements of living. And so before we went on break, we were starting to discuss what's been going on in my world as to why I would need to use sexual healing for clarity and some of the ways to do that. So let's actually start activating this and playing around with this. And I'm going to give up some more examples so that we can get even clearer on this. So I was talking about how I've been needing to move. We've been looking for a new home. We're dealing with grief, not only Justin's great grandmother passing, but also my abuela, my grandmother, passed a year ago, June 1st. So the anniversaries are all coming together, and there's a bunch of other people that have passed in the last 2.5 years, over 14 that I personally know that I'm acknowledging. And hi, they've been saying hi to me the last couple of weeks, trying to support, but sometimes being very distracting. And one of the things that I've been really looking at is when I'm trying to make all these decisions and I've had all these energies come up and I have these thoughts and these feelings come up, part of what awakening your sexual healing capacities and having these sexual energies moving through your body more, what this does is it allows you to be more present in the present. And it has it so that when there's more energies and more awakefulness, alertness to what's going on and where your body is in space right now, it's more likely for you to be clear on what you can choose right now versus worrying about past stuff. Oh, this is what I did the last time I saw my grandmother, or this is the last conversation I had with my uncle before he passed away, or this is this conversation with my ex that I can keep looping and looping on. Oh, this is my history with homes over the course of my childhood, or even the future. I don't want to be there either, where I get really anxious about everything that I'm not sure about how it's going to work out. Maybe I have faith and confidence that it will, but I want it to be happening yesterday already. So why isn't it here yet? And I'm freaking out. This is only relevant to me, right? So no one else is freaking out. So what you do is when you turn on these energies within your body, and over the course of this conversation, I've been doing that. Notice I actually was pretty tired right before coming on, but I knew that this conversation, I knew that me embodying this tool of awakening sexual energies would give me more energy. I've been doing it periodically throughout the day when my energy levels would dip. I'm like, all right, and right, and I would ramp it up and I would ramp up these energies. Part of what it does is it does give you more energy so that you can be clear and be more present. So how do we do that? So let's say you have low energy right now. Let's say you'd like to just play around with this possibility. So there's many, 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 many different ways of how to turn on your sexual energies. One of the ones that is coming to mind that's really super simple right now that we can play around with is just pulling energy from the earth into our bodies. So you can say, hi, earth, either in your head or out loud. And then go ahead and you can imagine, or you can just know and choose to pull energy from the earth into your feet. Hello, hello, feet. Up and up your body. And what I really love to do is not only do I pull it up into my legs and into my feet, I love actually having it swirl around and around my hips. It kind of like ramps it up for me. It like makes a tornado of energy. And just doing that, like around my hips, for me, what it does, it actually straightens up my whole skeletal system. It like gives me so much energy. There's like an energetic traction that happens. For you, it may show up a little bit different, but I love that because when I'm on the computer all day long, it's really nice to feel like I'm getting a chiropractic treatment myself. Like I don't need to go to the chiropractor always to get them, which is nice, as much as I love my chiropractor. So I actually have like multiple different chiropractors I see depending on where I am, where I'm traveling, where I'm at right now. So go ahead and swirl, swirl, swirl that energy that you've pulled from the earth into your body and around your hips, and then have it go up and continue to swirl, and have it swirl anywhere else that's needing to. Like for instance, right now, for me today, there was a little bit of a lack of flow in my chest area. maybe in my heart, my lungs. So I'm going to swirl around that, give it some yummy, nurturing energy, and then you can have it flow out the top of your head. Do that a couple more times while I talk about this. And I'm also going to do this more and more as we're talking. So you can, if you're having a tricky time doing this, you could even ask your body, hey, body, how can we do it our way, what Siris is doing? How can we do what Siris is doing our way? And see what your body, how your body responds to that question. So, and you can do that with anyone's gifts and capacities. If you have someone that you really admire of how they speak, of how they express themselves and show up in the world with fashion, how they do business, the relationships that they create, or the friendships that they have. What if you ask, okay, how can I have that my way? What would that look like? And body, what do you know about that? Because again, you want to partner with your body as you're choosing this instead of trying to impel this upon your body and have it be really unkind, maybe a little bit rough, and not like the fun kind of rough. Okay, so how did I use this? So I was going into different homes. We've probably looked online over 50 homes, and we viewed at least 20 in person. And with each place, even as I was considering it before we would go there, I would ask my body what it thought about the different spaces. And I would ramp up these sexual energies within my body. Because here's the thing, sexual energies are the creative energies within you, are the generative energies within you. It lets you know about what's possible and what ideas that can come. It doesn't have to be your ideas, but you're pulling them from your environment, you're pulling them from other bodies. Because remember, sexual healers receive from other bodies. They co-create with other bodies in addition to their own bodies. How cool is that? So I learned this first when I was playing around with Reiki, and then I added on another layer when I started playing around with shamanism, and then I added on another layer when I started playing around with Tantra, and then I added on another layer when I started playing around with Access Consciousness, and then I added on another layer when I started playing around with Theta Healing, and then I added on another layer when I started playing around with the Living and Dying Body process, and so many more. Just what other training can I do that I could have even more available to me? Other tricks for me to be able to use to ramp up these sexual energies that create so much in my world, including clarity. And so I'd ramp up these energies. I'd walk into the homes, or I'd look at the pictures of the homes, and my body would very clearly tell me, is this going to work? Like, even thinking about some of these homes, I'm like, ugh, ooh, no. We've all been there where even this idea of something's like, can we not? Can we just not do that? And then there's the ones that would be like, maybe a bit little like flirtation, a little curiosity, like, let me ask some more questions. Let me go on a couple more dates. You know what I mean? Or there'd be the ones that would be like, oh my gosh, that would be so nice. And we'd have to ask some more questions. Like, can we afford it? Is this the neighborhood we want to be in? What are our neighbors going to be like? Because there were some places that were like, oh, we really love the house. And then remember, receiving from the other bodies, including your neighbors, we would be very clear, oh, but these neighbors are going to wreck our yard. They're going to be really loud, or they're racist. We definitely were in some neighborhoods where we were like, I would not feel safe walking my dog alone in this neighborhood, be it because the neighbors are racist, or because there's a lot of violence or theft, things like that. So it was a no-go. Safety is a non-negotiable for me. Perhaps it is for you. And so I look at all these different things, and it would be very, very clear. And I'm very fortunate that I'm with a partner that is also willing to perceive energies within my body, within his own body, within the bodies around us. And it was no more dramatic than one of the houses that we saw, gosh, a couple weeks ago now, that I'm going to mention after this next break. Okay. Wow, it was a very, very strong response to say the least. So it's time for our next break. When we return, we will continue to discuss how we can use sexual healing for clarity. You are listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris on the Inspired Choices Network, and we will be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo. I'm Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And today our show topic is how to use sexual healing for clarity. And just so you know, our show is brought to you by Activated Liquid Collagen from LifeVantage. Liquid collagen is a different, better collagen supplement. Get real results that you can see and feel. Check out the Activated Liquid Collagen and LifeVantage's other natural plant-based products to address anti-aging, gut health, energy, and more by going to www.sirisrivas.lifevantage.com. Our show is also brought to you by the Elements of Living, the ingredients to creating empowered, authentic, and joyful living with your body. And so for our listeners, you can receive the introductory quick book on the Elements of Living for free, waiving the current cost of the book by emailing us at empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com with the subject line Elements. And for more information on the Elements of Living, visit empoweringlightlanguage.com/elements of living. And please connect with us through all of our over 450 TV and podcast platforms, and make sure to subscribe to not miss any of our episodes. So before we went on break, we were discussing how we can start to use these sexual capacities and are these energies of sexual healing that are beyond just what we would use when we're having sex with someone for all different areas of our lives. And so I'm going to go ahead and tell you about what Justin and I call the murder house. We went into this house hopeful, already a bit hesitant. We were been really having a tough time finding places that with all the inventory in Charlotte that we were excited about. We're trying to power through some things, which was already not a great sign. We already are like not really like a yes, but we're like, what else are we gonna do? We have to move in the next month or two at this point, I think it was. And so we need to have something lined up. Let's try out. We have to like go out of our comfort zones, the things that you do to rationalize, like choosing things that is a no for your body. I still do it. I'm still like, what? I'm doing this for what reason? But we went there and we go into the house, and pretty quickly it was like the house had a dark cloud over it. The other homes in the house had all the sunshine. And we were like, what is going on? There's just a really weird energy here. And we go inside and we immediately like kind of run through the first floor to the deck. And the deck was really the only, excuse me, I'm bumped into my microphone. The deck was really the only thing that you could really say, oh, that's nice about the house. And then everything else was either dirty with cobwebs, with, dust. And then there was this just palpable energy of like violence and abuse and sadness, and it was just so heavy in there. And what really made us just completely done. We were like, okay, we're not going to be trying to be optimistic about this anymore, is we noticed that the downstairs bathroom had the lock on the outside instead of the inside. And immediately I pictured and could sense kids locked in that bathroom. And I could not get out of there fast enough. We didn't even go upstairs. Both of us had this sense of like, if we go upstairs, something's going to happen to us. Maybe we were picking up on someone else who had that thought that used to live there. We didn't need to think about it anymore. We bolted out of there. We sat in the car in the driveway for a while. And Justin was just like shaking his head like, oh my gosh, that house, oh my gosh. And we were just really, really upset. And I just started bawling because as you know, you may know, I really care about the kids of the world. And I was very much picking up on kids being abused there. It was almost like it was a whole human trafficking house. And since I've worked with survivors of human trafficking and survivors of sexual assault and rape and children who have been assaulted, I know that vibration all too well, and it was not cool. And I did not want to be in a house that had anything like that in there. I was not going to feel safe. And that was just absolutely not going to be an option for us. Now, why do I mention this? One, what we had to do to keep being hopeful and move to the next house was we had to dissipate all of that energy that we did not want in our bodies. We did not want in our mindset and our reality that was going to be distracting us as we continue to tour other places. So part of what you can do with your sexual healing abilities is when you ramp up more energy, you can dissipate negative, heavy, sad, anxious energy out of your world, out of your reality. It basically makes it so that, yes, it's there. And then you increase the joyfulness, the creativeness, those generative energies that are the yum of your world. And it eclipses that yuck, the stuff that you're like, could we just have that out of our world? For someone who used to be not even used to be, I still very empathetic, but I was empathetic in such an unconscious way that I would constantly be taking energy on, and I would get full and crunchy and heavy and irritable and sad and maybe even in pain. Like I definitely would have physical pain from what I was picking up on from other people and other things. And I looked everywhere and I asked out loud and in my head for a long time before finding it, how can I empty out this container? Maybe that's something that you've asked yourself. How can I let go of this stuff faster and easier? And this is a great way to do that. So I'm going to show you yet another out of the infinite ways to dissipate things and infinite ways to activate these sexual energies. Here's another one. You ready? All right. So let's go ahead and actually activate one of your energetic body spots. So if you scan your body from top to bottom or bottom to top or both, notice where over the course of this conversation, things got a little tight. The energy isn't flowing through your body as easy as it was. Maybe your breathing changed. Okay. Notice where that is. Make sure you scan the front of your body and the back of your body. And wherever that is, go ahead and flow energy there. Actually turn on like a switch and have energy flow there. And it may take a couple of tries, no worries. But as you do this, you'll notice that things feel lighter there. It doesn't have that tightness as much. It's a conscious choice to continue to have that tightness. And what I love about this is it takes so much more energy to have that constriction than to loosen and let go. And that's what our bodies invite us to when we partner with them. They would like for us to have that ease, that spaciousness, that loosey-goosey, like wet noodle feeling, like, oh my God, I'm so blissed out right now. Yes. So go ahead and do that with a couple of different places. Anywhere that you feel like there's a tightness, there's a heaviness, the energy isn't flowing the way that you would like, and turn on that energetic body spot there. And anything that's left, any residual energies, you can pour it out of your body and into the earth. And the earth is like, yum, 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 yum. Take it. No worries. I'll use it as fertilizer and create something else. because, let's let go of all that crap. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did. That's what we sat and did. We held hands, we breathed, and as we sat in the driveway, just being really upset initially about what we perceived in that home, we were able to let that go. And that's been really, really key, because just recently we were moving some things, and we were at my mom's house this past weekend, and I saw the photo of my grandmother. My mother made this beautiful like photo book of not just my grandmother's pictures, but like different ancestors, different past family members on my grandmother's side, on my mom's side. And you can look in that book and you can see like her father and her brothers and her sisters and her cousins, and how she was at her wedding and things like that. And on the cover is a picture of her at one of the birthday parties that we threw for her. It was her 80th birthday. And she looked so surprised and so happy. She was not expecting everybody to be there. And I saw the photo this past weekend, and I'll fully admit I was very emotionally raw already. I was really tired from packing and moving everything in, like, remember, 4 days. And I saw it and I just started getting really sad and really missing her and really wanting to talk to her. See, just thinking about it right now, it just makes me like a little teary-eyed again. And I got really down and just was really aching to talk to her and give her a hug and have her hug me and smell her, And Justin picked up on it, and he was like, "What was that?" And I was already picking up it was probably that, but there were so many things going on. We were moving more things. And I love that he asked me, and he said, "So what's going on?" He picked up on me not being my usual self. And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm missing Abuela." And he was like, "Well, what brought this on?" And I told him about the photo. And then I was like, "I'm shifting it. I'm moving it. Thanks for asking." And what I did was this. I used me being me even more and reaching out. And I was like, instead of having that photo hurt me or bring up sadness, what if I use that to facilitate her as if that was her body? And I could flow energy from that photo and from that photo book to my body as if it was a hug from her. So this is a great way for us to not just have other people's bodies, but things that have a consciousness that can contribute to us, nurture us, and love on us, like those that have passed, like those that would love to love on us now, that maybe are in another country or another state, or just not available as accessibly as they usually would be. And so that's what I did. And so I got the energy of the photo book and all of those ancestors and her, and she would not be okay with me crying about her, right? And I started from behind her, through the photo book, to my body and out my back. And I just kept doing that over and over and over again. And with each flow, the sadness dissipated. And don't get me wrong, right now, it comes up. As those of you that grieving anybody or anything, it's not like it just goes away all the time, but you can have a little bit more breathing room with it. And you can then move more toward the fond memories instead of the lack or the loss. And that's what I was doing. And in that way, I'm also honoring her and respecting myself and making sure that I have the energy and the resources to do what needs to be done. And man, is there so much that needs to be done right now. So starting behind the person, behind the object of the person, if it's a painting, if it's a figurine, if it's a brooch. I had a client that had a brooch that was beautiful of emeralds and diamonds, and it was like a hummingbird brooch that they had from their, I think it was an aunt or it was definitely like a mother figure in their lives. And they would hold on to the brooch and they wouldn't dare wear it because they would just start crying. And I was like, well, what if the brooch could actually empower you and have you feel more confident and more sure of yourself? And what are the energies of your aunt or whoever this mother figure was? And I would ask them questions, and they would start flowing energy through the brooch to their bodies. And so now they can wear the brooch, and it's actually one of their signature things that they love to wear when they're going to a meeting, or there's something that's an important event where they want to feel like I can strut my stuff. I got this. And so that's the things that you can have the things that work for you That's the living, adding the things that will work for you that will create more, and adding more and more to that. And then the dying of the living and dying body process. The dying is things you let go of to create more. So you can let go of the sadness, you can let go of the judgment of yourself or the sense of loss, and keep those. Both of them will create more for you and is an honoring of your loved ones, and will give you more clarity on what you'd like to do moving forward. Okay. So a couple examples of that. So you can use it for moving, for grief. We're going to talk about more after this next break. So you're listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will continue to discuss how to use sexual healing for clarity. We will be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you. This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm still wiping the tears from that last exercise before our break. I am Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo. I'm Choosing a Different Future with Siris, and today our show topic has been how to use sexual healing for clarity. And so before we went on break, I was talking about how I use sexual healing to have clarity while dissipating grief, while dissipating negative, heavy, sad, traumatic energy from my body. And one of the other things that I wanted to point out is I very intentionally not mentioned using sexual healing in relationships or in intimate situations, because I think that's where a lot of people think about all the time. And I want you to be aware of all the other ways you can use it and to have clarity in these other areas of your life. So one way I'd love to mention too is I've really been having a great time working with educators and caregivers so that they can have more clarity with their loved ones, with their students. And part of what happens is that they start using these energies, awakening that, so that there can be clear on where their stance is. And one of the things that has been really interesting is someone mentioned when I was doing a workshop at an early childhood clinic, and they said that the discussion that we had on privilege, on communication styles, on perspective taking was really helpful for them, because we did these body awareness exercises as well, including activating energies within our bodies. And what it did is it really shined a light for them on where they had prejudices, where they had limiting beliefs, and where they were not actually able to see their coworkers or their students in a way that was like true for the person. So for instance, they were seeing their coworkers through the lenses of their ethnicities or their races. There was a very diverse staff. It was people that were all different religions, they were all different races, all different ethnicities, different socioeconomic classes. We had some teachers that had bachelor's and master's degrees, and we had people that, maybe had GEDs and high school degrees. And then they also had different perspectives on how to educate children. And given that they were an early childhood center, it was really important for them to be on the same page about how they were going to be approaching kids, how they were going to be disciplining them, how they were going to talk to parents. And so all this gave them a really big aha about like, wow, if I increase the energies within me, I'm going to be really clear on how I'm seeing my students and what they need. And that's one of the things that has made me really effective with the families and the children that I work with, is I use any and all energies to have more presence. So I can be clear on what's your body telling me again? Oh, oh, we need to change your chair so that you can have postural support. Oh, I need to choose a different type of visual cue, or we're going to use some touch cues because your body's asking for touch right now so that it can know how to pronounce that sound, or so it can have a cue to remind you to move your tongue back, or for you to use a certain order in grammar when you're making a sentence. Like, okay, we're going to tap that out. We're going to touch your throat. You can do it for yourself. All these different things that we use is super, super available to us when we use our abilities as sexual healers to receive from other bodies and our own bodies to create a different possibility. It's so, so cool, and love, love, love it. Before I forget, because one of the last episodes, I was having so much fun with the guest, Milica Jelenic, and we were talking about movies, and we were talking about geeking out about different pleasure and intimacy-based movies that I didn't even get to talk about the next episode for the week. So next week's show is going to be when your relationships influence you away from exuberant living. And so we're going to be talking about the living and dying body process even more. And this is all in preparation for our June class that is coming up. But really, every aspect of living can either have exuberant living, or you can be destroying possibilities that are uniquely available to you. And we want to be clear on what that is. And hopefully today's discussion illuminated that for you as well, because there's so many different areas of our lives in which we can use sexual healing. And what would you like to create with it? Would it be clarity like we talked about today? Would it be more enthusiasm for living like we've discussed in our December show when we were talking about creating a greater enthusiasm for living? Is it about getting clients? Is it about having greater connections with people? Confidence. There's so many possibilities. So if you've been listening today and you're like, is it possible to use it with this? Fill in the blank. Go ahead and message me at empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Message me directly. I reply within 24 hours of basically any email that's sent to me. And I'd love to know where you're wondering where you could use sexual healing more effectively. Or if there was something that I said that gave you an aha and you'd like to share a resource, a connection, and a possibility to our listeners, send that information to me. I love being a resource to people and connecting people with other people, people with other possibilities. And so if you know of something that would contribute to our listeners, let me know, and I'll totally give you a shout out about it. I'd love to add to my toolbox even more. There's really, like, it's Mary Poppins in my toolbox. There's no bottom to it. It just keeps on going. I'm like, what else, what else, what else? And if you'd like some of that, feel free to reach out and have a consultation with me. I'd love to get to know you and support you in you having that your way. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope it was a contribution to you and your bodies. There are so many other ways where we can have more clarity. And if you would like to have a session as well of any of the techniques and energies that we talked about, feel free to reach out. It has been an amazing time to explore how we can use sexual energies and sexual healing for our benefit. And thank you for being this beautiful space for me to share some of my personal experiences recently. And thank you again for all of your beautiful messages that you've been sending me, knowing that it's been a very intense, tricky time for me. And yet this is about having the tools and using the tools in our toolbox for more ease. It's not that all the bad stuff goes away. It's that we can have a little bit more space and ease to navigate them. Because otherwise, I don't know if I would be vertical right now if it wasn't for these tools. So thanks again so much. And one other thing real quick that somebody sent in a question. Let's see here. Yes, how can I use this? How can I use this for my health? Yes, so when you're awakening these energies, you can actually contribute to your health as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a whole episode just on that, because that's a big, big, big topic. So thank you for sending that question in and for that feedback. You're inspiring me to create a whole other episode. All right. So if you have any other ideas for episodes, send it to us at empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. I'm so grateful to every one of you, and enjoy this Pride Month. Happy June, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Choosing a Different Future show. Siris returns Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Mountain, and 7 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, keep choosing what will work for you and your body, your own unique way honoring what will work for you.